Olympic medal or not, Akela Jones is one of Barbados' success stories. Just like the hurdles that she cleared in her athletic meets, she has overcome one obstacle after the other in her personal life. She overcame the stigma of growing up in a children's home and being labeled rebellious to now being one of Barbados' most celebrated athletes.
Life growing up in Barbados was, good and bad. It had fun moments. Went to school at Hilda Scheme Primary School. I lived in the children's home growing up, and I had a lot of fun. I always had a lot of people to occupy my time. The people that live with us, we're all brothers and sisters. And there were some good people, some good aunties, some bad aunties too as well, but good aunties for the most part that really, loved us in those early days.
At school, her peers teased her about growing up in a home, but Akela did not let that shake her resolve.
Yes, definitely I was teased a lot, but if you know me personally, Akela, I don't really indulge in that kind of nonsense. To say the least, when people would tell me, oh, you live in a children's home, my response usually was, I can't say it on camera, but my response was usually some sort of, making somebody else feel bad. And, people would tell me I live in a children's home, I would be like, your taxpayers' money are paying for me, to live in this house. So I living good, I eating good, I looking good, so I was feeling good. So I was not ashamed at all for living in a children's home.
The 21-year-old knew at an early stage that she wanted to pursue athletics seriously.
I think I realized it from a very early age that I was good at sports. Going to school at Hilda Scheme Primary School, we were always winning Zone 5 championships. And from about 6 years old, I realized that, this is really going to be my life, and I'm going to use it to elevate myself and elevate my family so as well, and the people around me. So from an early age, I realized that, this is what was calling me, track and field.
Akela Jones, lane 4, coming in with the fastest time, 12.01. Lane 5, Ariel Jackson of the Garrison Secondary, looking confident. Lane 6, Akela Taylor of St. Michael's School. Lane 7, Rashida Howell of the Lodge School. And lane 8, Erica Charles of Garrison Secondary. I'm loving the diverse hairstyles in this one. The girls
all dolled up, the girls all dolled up.
But always look cute when you come out to the big race.
But this is competition time.
Oh yes, and they'll be looking to make a mark.
And this is part of the movement Flo Joe would have brought into the change in terms of style and fashion.
That's right. And the fastest times are in the middle of the track from lanes 3 to lane 6. And but Akela Jones, watch her form. She has tremendous form. She leaps in the air. It's a hopping gazelle-like style, and because she's so powerful, she has a large stride. So her turnover might not look as quick as some of her counterparts, but she is moving quite briskly.
Indeed. Should be difficult to beat. Over the years, we've known Akela Jones primarily for the jumps, the long jump champion, the high jump champion. She also does the hurdles. I think she'll make a good heptathlete, actually. So it will be her choice and her charge's choice. So she has Harris, Gibson, Hall, who perhaps might very well turn out to be her main competitor. Shakira Hall, Ariel Jackson, a good sprinter as well. And there they go. And Akela Jones is struggling. Shakira Hall has it at the moment. But here comes the big cat. And it's going down to the wire. Jones wins. Jones beats them all.
They're
raising her arms.
We're going to look forward to seeing you at Crafty Games. Are you ready to put on the blue and yellow and represent? You always give us our first medal, and it's always a goal.
Well, unfortunately this year, I'm in a new division, so I won't have that opportunity anymore, but I'm definitely looking forward to wear my black, yellow, and blue and go and do Barbados proud.
She was named as part of the Barbados team for the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Her pet events are the high jump and the heptathlon.
My road to Rio is very planned. I've been dreaming about, going to Olympics for a very long time in my life. My coaches at Kansas State, you know, it's not a one-year plan, it's not a two-year plan, it's an ongoing plan, and Rio is not the ending. Rio is actually going to be the start of something bigger and something better. I have 2 medal shots, which, you know, you dream about for a long, long time, but, you know, putting in the hard work and behind the scenes and actually being there, I think it's going to be a massive experience for me. I think that I'm going to take, you know, full advantage of being there and learning and interacting and participating in the culture. And I just want to have fun at my first Olympic Games and come away with a medal for Barbados. If I do, you know, it will be the first female medal for Barbados, and that would be, it's history already made. History in the book says, our anthem says, you know, we write our names on history's page. And I hope my name can be written first as the first woman. So that's my plan for Rio, to go out there and show my full potential to my country first and then to the world. Because my people already know what I have inside of me. It's just to show them and give them back something.
Akela knows that it took a village to get her to where she is today. Here is a look at just some of her achievements.
Akela Jones, Kansas State.
She is grateful to everyone who has invested in her life and her dreams. Sean Dupini is Akela's former coach at Springer Memorial School. She credits him for giving her the right guidance academically and in track and field to gain entry into Kansas State University, where she's now a senior pursuing a degree in criminology.
A lot of people have issues with children expressing themselves, and one thing that I think is important is that we try to show them how to harness what they're supposed to be doing. So where everybody would more be trying to get Akela to change who she is, we just try to get her to control what she's doing, because that is what makes Akela Akela. And if we try to change that, or we try to change it, then we're actually changing that person. So it was just trying to get her to control everything that she's doing and realize that everybody is not going to be open to her openly expressing herself, and just try to control it a little bit and let it out where she really needs to let it out, which was actually on the track.
Mr. Dupini has seen her grow and mature from that aggressive teenager to a focused and disciplined athlete.
Akela went from telling me, okay, I just want to have fun. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and I just want to enjoy myself, to now when I call her and I say, okay, what you're doing, and she's telling me everybody's going out, but she can't go because she has to train tomorrow. You know, and it's a total change, because when she was talking about going out, having fun, I was the one telling her, you know, she needs to worry about practice tomorrow, so she needs to make sure she gets enough rest. To a young lady now is telling me that she has to get up and train, so she can't go out. And I'm the one telling her that now she needs to relax a little bit and take a little easy. Yes, you still have all these things to do, you know, but you still got to relax. So it's total 180.
Head of Springer Memorial's Physical Education Department, Julie Phillips, has been somewhat of a mentor to Akela. She recalled how they first met.
One day I was sitting in the staff room and I looked out through the window and I heard all this commotion. I can't understand what was going on, and I just looked up and I saw the children running around and this tall and posing figure just striding. Somebody probably upset her or upset her, and she just striding, long strides coming across the schoolyard and ranting and raving. I just got up and I went over. I think there were some other members of staff and other students just trying to calm her down, and they couldn't get it done. So I just went over to her and I held her hand, and she looked around at me, eyes staring. You could see that she was angry. I held her hand and I said, all right, you never mind them. You come and talk with me and we'll talk it through and we'll see how best we can get through it. And it took me a little while before I could get her to settle down and say what, you know, when you're in a passion, because she has this passion. And she was just going on and going on. So I said, anyway, we can start it out. Bell rang, the children went back into lunch. I think we went and we sat on the sidewalk, or we sat on one of these circles here, and I just let her go on, and and I said, okay. And when I think she had ranted enough, I said, listen, I said, you don't worry, I'm here to take care of you. And that basically is because I had heard about her from primary school. I have this talented athlete coming. She has a good heart, but she needs, and it just so happened that day that she basically walked into my life, or I walked into her. But
it was difficult penetrating the walls Akela had built up, but Phillips eventually made a connection with her.
It was a lot of hard work. It was a lot of probing and trying, and at first she never used to open up about anything. It was like, you stay there, I'm in my own world, don't touch me, just let me do, but like any good parent, you need to find out what is troubling you, how you can make some days happy, comfort, a shoulder to cry on, stuff like that. And it took lots and lots of hard work. Some days I felt like giving up, but you say to yourself, I'm entrusted with a job. And it is not only a job, but she's a child, and every child wants somebody to be there for them.
Miss Phillips continues to support Akela in most of her endeavors, and she will be one of many Barbadians glued to their television sets during the 2016 Olympics. While there were many persons who helped shape Akela into the person she is today, Marlene Hall and Kathy Harper Hall, affectionately known as Mum and Grandmother, are perhaps the most influential. They opened up their home and their hearts to Akela when she was just 14 years old.
I came out of the children's home, had a rocky path that, I don't really like to talk about. And then Miss Hall and Miss Harper Hall, they both took me into their home, and they loved me, and they fed me, and they clothed me, and they sent me to school, and they helped me, gain a personality where people will want to, interact with me and not see my bad side, but see the good side of Akela, because they saw that I had potential to be something bigger and something better. And it's obviously came to light, and I thank them so much, for taking me in.
While Marlene Hall preferred not to be in the spotlight, her mother, local netball pioneer and sports administrator Kathy Harper Hall, explained why they decided to become Akela's guardians.
We took Akela when she was 14 years old because we saw the need for Akela to get very special care and very special attention, given the potential that we saw in her, not only as an athlete, but as a person. Akela is a very warm, charming, loving child. All she needs is just some care and attention, and that's all she needed all along, care and attention. And when the time came where we took her, the situation was not happy, it was not pleasant, it was not beautiful, but we saw through all of that and decided to take the plunge. Of course, it was difficult. The first 2 years were trying, challenging, mainly because of who Akela was and who Akela wanted to be. It posed a challenge for us, but we persevered. We worked through it. My daughter, she was extra special with it, because she is a life skills coach by profession. So she was able to handle things that needed handling. She did the coaching and the trying to bring her in, and I did the mothering and the parenting and so on. So between us both, we were able to work on Akela. Akela has gone a long way from where we started with her, and I'm so proud of her now. And not just of her, yes, I'm proud of her athletic performance and her athletic achievements. I am proud of that, but I am more proud of the Akela that I now see compared to the Akela that I took. That's where I am proud of Akela. A lot of people out there are jumping on Akela's bandwagon now and Akela is this, Akela that, and they really don't know Akela, and they don't know where Akela is coming from. So, I fully appreciate that people care and that people are now trying to love her and so on. But when she needed it, there were so few people to give it to her when she really needed it. Not that she doesn't need it now. She needs the caring now. She will appreciate what everybody's doing now, but at the time when she really needed it, that was when it was most important.
Miss Harper Hall is no stranger to accommodating children who need a loving home.
When she was at Springer Memorial School and the PE teacher, Miss Phillips, had various concerns about her and wanted to see her move forward, she asked my daughter, who I tell you is a life skills coach, to do some work with her to help her with her personal training. And so she used to come here on every Wednesday for 1 hour to have sessions with my daughter. And when I didn't know her before, I just knew of her. And then she started to come here. For some reason or other, she just decided she liked me. So she used to have conversations with me and come and hug me and all that type of thing when she came. But she didn't come to me, she came to my daughter for sessions. So it was kind of easy when things turned around for her and she could no longer stay at Sterling. It was kind of easy for me to say yes because she was already coming to this house. And I'm not sure if there's anybody else out there to say yes, because I didn't see anybody else coming forward. And in the conversation I had with Miss Jordan and with Mrs. Maynard, Esther Maynard, and from people from the Track and Field Association who were also interested in her welfare, for conversations we had, and and the fact that my house is one of the houses that I'm always, Akela is just one of many. Akela is one of about 6 that I have taken in. So, I do it quietly, peacefully. It's not something that I laud about, talk about. But I love children, and I hate to see children suffer. And if it was anybody else, it didn't have to be Akela then. If it was anybody else in Akela's situation and I could help, I would have. It so happened it turned out to be Akela, and it has turned out to be a blessing.
Their home is full of medals. Most of them belong to Miss Harper Hall, but a special place in the home has been designated for Akela's medals and trophies. Akela's training routine is tough, and whether or not she is under the watchful eyes of her coach at Kansas State, she makes sure she gives it 100%. She hits the gym for some strength training before the crack of dawn. Then it's off to the track.
My daily routine is quite simple, more simple than people think. I get up, I go to weights in the morning, I go to breakfast, I go to class. After class, I then go and work out. Sometimes we have 2-a-day sessions where we're training in the morning and then training in the evening. That's more so in the vacation time, more so than school, because in school hours, I have to go to school and do my classes. But when we're out of school, I train twice a day. And then most of my weekends are filled with flying out to go to a track meet. We fly out over the States to go and participate in track meets. And then when we are not traveling, we're basically doing homework, relaxing. I live with Jamaicans, so they cook up some food for me. I can't really cook, so they cook up the food for me. And we just enjoy, watch TV and play around, because most of the time you're just exhausted from training. So it's just about relaxing by the pool or just watching TV, and then you start fresh again the next day.
But there's always time for some fun when she comes back home to Barbados. Akela is also somewhat of a fashionista. She loves dressing up and has started a line of t-shirts under the name What Limits, depicting the various events in which she competes.
We started my brand with t-shirts right now, and then since my biggest shot, I think, at the medal this year is high jump, we've put myself as a silhouette on my high jump on the t-shirt. So then as my journey towards the next Olympics, every year we will try to bring out one with me doing the shot put and one with me doing the javelin, because there's 7 different events. And each person, as you can personally follow my journey and feel like you're a part of it. So you can follow it. The first one is the high jump, and we continue on, because it's a continuous journey. It's not just this one time at Rio.
Akela doesn't feel pressured going to Rio.
I have nothing to lose. My journey so far is already inspirational. It's already a story. I already made it out. So I don't feel any pressure. Do I feel nervous? Yes. As anybody else on this track feels, as they would feel nervous, you know, going into the Olympic Games. I think that I've trained really hard. So I don't have to fear anybody. I don't have to fear my own body. I don't have to go there and try to, you know, put in something that I didn't put, I put out something, sorry, that I didn't put in. So I feel no pressure. My coaches are going to be there. Team Barbados is going to have a good medical staff there. So they're going to take care of us. And it's just, my coach, the biggest lesson you can learn at these games is just another track meet. And if you look at it that way, most of the people that look at it that way, they usually succeed and come out on top.
There is never a shortage of tips or advice from well-meaning Barbadians who want to see the 6'2" athlete succeed at the Olympics.
Everybody tries to, you know, give their 2 cents to my journey. There are the people who say, I told her to do that first, which wasn't necessarily true. And there are the people that actually told me to do it first, who were there from the beginning. I think there's a lot of people I passed through Bridgetown, and a lot of people just want to encourage me and wish me the best, and people want to pray for me and, you know, just be on my journey towards the Olympics. I think that my niece and my family, you know, they're my biggest inspiration going forward. My brother is always there every step of the way, and they always encourage me. Every time I come home with a gold medal, obviously not my Rio gold medal, but my Carifta medals or my Kansas State University medals, I always give them to my niece because I want her to feel like, you know, she's a part of this journey too as well. So I think from the smallest to the biggest people, they all have a little 2 cents to give to my journey, and I embrace each one of them.
Akela is grateful to her coach at Kansas State University, Cliff Rovelto, for helping to prepare her for the Olympic stage.
Akela Jones, that's 3 PRs in a row. Both are at 23.63. Kendall wins 23.60.
He just recently came down to Barbados, and he's been there every step of the way, even from Pan Am Games last year, won my first senior medal, to this national championships that just passed, and he'll be at the Olympic Games. I think the journey, he's been there along the way, along with the other coaches there as well, the medical staff, and they have helped me along the way, the chiropractors, the masseuses, even the doctor, down to the people that, you know, fix our equipment at the track. Everybody has played a role in developing me onto this road to Rio.
They're phenomenal athletes. But there's nobody better than Akela Jones from a physical standpoint. There just isn't. There's no one in the world better than her. She is the best in the world. But she's got to do the work and get the experience and so forth, and then go out and prove it. So there's a lot of things that have got to happen for, you know, for everyone to accept that she's the best in the world. But I know that physically she's the best in the world.
We caught up with Akela's big sister, Irika Louie, who has been one of her biggest supporters.
I feel very proud as a proud big sister. Akela has come a long way, and I like her motivation, her determination, and she works hard for what she wants to achieve. So I'm very, very proud of Akela's achievements thus far.
Even though she can't be there on location, Irika plans to show her support during Akela's events in Rio.
I will be in front of the TV. I will make sure I have a link, if not CBC. I make sure I'll be in front of the TV in my shirt, screaming, and, you know, probably with some of the family members and cheering her on.
Most people might be surprised to discover that Akela's true love is not track and field. It is working with juveniles.
I don't want to wait until I finish track and field in order to start my career. I think that track and field, and a lot of people, you know, disagree with me on this, but I think track and field is second to what my biggest passion is, which is helping juveniles in the juvenile system. And I think track and field is my platform to reach more people. So by me being on the scene and running, more students and more young people can see me, and more youth can see me and realize that, you know what, I can be just like her too. And I don't have any limits, so they shouldn't have any limits. If they're going on the wrong path, they can turn right around and spin right around. So I want, from at least when I am 22 years old, to start my own campaign and my own charity for these juvenile kids, and go and work with these kids from the time they're young, so that they can see that, you know, I understand the struggle that they're going through as well. And I'm not just telling them because, you know, I study it in college. I've been through it myself. So I want to help them along the way.
After Rio, Akela plans to get some much-needed R&R, complete her studies in criminology at the Kansas State University, and then is back to training in October this year for the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. Well, that's it for yet another episode of The Bajans. Thank you for joining us.